far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I thought I was at the hockey game. Let's go! I'm gonna have sex with Triple H's wife. I'm gonna have sex with Stephanie McMahon. I'm gonna have sex with Linda McMahon. I'm gonna Linda McMahon. I'm gonna Linda McMahon. I'm gonna Linda McMahon. I'm gonna Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon. I'm gonna put my thing inside her. I'm gonna put my thing and ride her. I'm gonna put my thing inside Linda McMahon. All I wanna do is her. All I wanna do is her. All I wanna do is her. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just love when you start a show like a complete cunt. Like, I don't know what it is. Yo, Robbie Hyde's in the chat, and you know what that means. Somebody's got AIDS. Let's be honest. How's everybody doing? It's Wednesday night, and I'm wearing a pair of headphones that cost $10. And boy, can I tell, because everything I say is making these headphones crunch into shit. Jesus Christ, do these headphones suck. Oh my God, my mother asked me what to get me for Christmas. Mom, are you watching? A pair of headphones. $100 pair is something good. Wow, I haven't had a good pair of headphones in a while. I broke all my $50 pairs of headphones. And I broke my other one. I didn't break them, but there's something wrong with the wire. So I bought these $10 headphones, and oh my Christ, dude, this sounds terrible. Who would ever buy these? Like, when I'm talking, it's just popping. It's not even right. It sounds like, oh my God, dude, I probably sound pretty good in real life, like in the YouTube, and if you're wearing good headphones, but Jesus Christ, dude, what's the point of these? I might as well not wear headphones. Oh my God, dude, they sound friggin' atrocious. Jesus Christ. These headphones sound terrible. These headphones sound like Jake DeMarco's immune system. This is fucking horrific. I talked to Jake not that long ago, but it's been a couple weeks. So congrats to him, man. Shout out to Jake. Let me send him a message, because the last time I talked, I wanted to tell you guys about what he said, but it's been a little bit now. I mean, I really miss Jake a lot, bro. It's like I talk to him like here or there, when like it's like sometimes I forget to say something, then I finally start talking to him for a few, and then he can't talk, but then he gets back to me, and then I miss that, and like we're like talking, but it's like sometimes takes a little bit for each of us to get through to each other. But like man, it's really sad. Like I don't know, man. I really miss him. Like I don't know if like, I mean, I don't think you fully understand. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when I left Clark's Shoes. The corporate, I worked at the corporate office, which was like a big corporate office building, and I was customer service department. And when I left there, I was like, yeah, I was sad, and I was like, oh man, but this show took over my life, man. This show took over my life like crazy. So I was like, man, well, fuck it. Fuck going to work every day for 9 hours there, and you know, I can focus only on YouTube. This is great. But I think it was about a year after that I was gone from Clark's that I began to get really sad, because I missed the people. It took me a while to miss them, to figure it out, you know. And part of it was like, dude, you see these people every day. And it was like, I started thinking about them. Like, hey, wonder what happened. And then, like, it's like there's really no way to reach out besides going on Facebook and sort of, like, messaging everybody like, hey, how are you? It's like, you know, there's so many people that I was thinking of because I was so friendly with so many different people that it was like, man, how do I, like, I don't know. And so it's the same thing with Jake DeMarco. I feel like even though I can talk to him at any point, I can text him today. He'll respond to me tonight or tomorrow or within, you know, soon. But, like, we don't talk like we used to. You know what I mean? Like, we don't. So I really miss him. Like, the absence of him is. It was there, but it's really catching up right now.
Shit bum.
Oh my God, a shit bum. Oh my God. Yo, John Doe. Wow. Shit, man. John Doe already dropping a $5 sexy on me. Earlier, he super chatted that, actually, John Doe did. John Doe is the top donator already at $5. John Doe, cheers to you, man. Thank you so much for dropping $5 like that, bro. Thank you. That's a big help on the gas tank, brother. Shout out to you, man. I got my tea. I got my cup of tea here. I'm ready to spill it on people's pussies and assholes and shit. It's going to be crazy. We're going to make fun of people on Twitter tonight. That'll be a good time. I think we should make fun of Stephen King tonight because he's a psycho. I was going to save that for, like, my political channel or whatever, but I think we should make fun of Stephen King because he's kind of a psycho. I love his books, and I love...
Oh, my God. What's happening? What's happening?
Whoa!
What's happening to my asshole?
Oh, my God! What's happening? What? What's happening to my asshole?
What's happening to my ass?
Oh, my God! The ghost from the coast!
That BLUMPKIN pussy juice, that fucking cunt, that fucking juice is on the loose. That pussy screws all of the men. Bumpkin, cunt, pussy, juice wants.
What's happening to my asshole?
All your juice, BLUMPKIN.
I'm a communist from China.
Pussy juice.
What's happening to my wife's cunt hole?
That cunt is on the loose, that pussy juice. I want that BLUMPKIN cunt's pussy juice. Nom 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 nom. BLUMPKIN cunt's pussy juice. All I want in my mouth, I can't take all of it. It's dripping down my throat so wet. BLUMPKIN cunt's pussy juice. BLUMPKIN cunt, it's all I want from you. I smell it from here, I smell it from there. I eat through your underwear. I nibble it up, I gobble it all. I make your pussy and your panties fall. I wanna enthrall your fucking
The ghost from the coast!
It's on my front, I'll fucking lick it up my tongue. BLUMPKIN, oh God. Pussy juice. That's all I fucking want from you. Your BLUMPKIN, your guns, your pussy juice. Oh, your pussy's the size of a goddamn moose. I want it so bad I can taste it from here.
The ghost from the coast dropping $100.
Oh, my God, ghost!
We going all night? Yeah?
We're going
Let's go.
all night long. Fuck Canadians. Oh my God, what the hell? Yo, Ghost, I don't know if we're going all night, bro. I was going to go a half an hour. But we'll definitely go. We'll go at least an hour now. Because $100, I mean, we're going at least an hour, if not more. Thanks to you, Ghost from the coast. We will do it. Maybe longer. I don't know. It depends how much steam I have in my tank, man. Wow. Joe, what do you think about the COVID protest in China? I don't know. We'll go live to the COVID protest in China if we have to. The ghost from the coast. God damn. Man, women hate this donation, Greg. I don't know what it is, bro, but they freak out. Or they hate, like, most of everything I do. I can't even believe I secured a wife. The ghost from the coast. It's been a long... Dude, I haven't seen a Hyundai bomb in, like, 2 weeks. Which explains why I took extra shifts at work. But But, man, look at that. The ghost from the coat says, nuh-uh. And by the ghost from the coat, what did I just say? He's like, nah, bro. We're dropping Hundy bombs here, like, boom. That 90s show, the trailer's finally out for that 90s show. So, yay. I watched it. The kids, again, seem forgettable. It's really about Red and, and the wife. I forget her name. I don't know why. That 70s show is pretty good. I watched it and I liked it. I didn't like it's something that for sure if it's on, I'll binge watch it, no doubt. Like I'll binge watch that show. I like that show, but I'm not like a super fan of it. Like I had a friend that was like legit a fucking like super fan of that 70s show. Like this kid like posters everywhere and all kinds of things. Like whatever I think about Star Trek, I think he was like that 70s show. And I think my wife really likes that 70s show too. Like I think she really likes it. I mean, I like it. I don't think I like it as much as other people like it. The Boston Bruins are off to a start, bro, in hockey right now. Dude, I don't know what the Boston Bruins are taking. Drugs. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They're like taking Cam Neely's Viagra up the ass or something. I don't know what the Bruins are doing, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but they're crazy right now. The Bruins are loaded. I mean, we're beating the bag out of people, like left and right, constantly. Like dude, and the Pooh Bear jerseys are back. I'm ready to rock the Pooh Bear jerseys all freaking night long. God damn, am I fired up over them. It's crazy. Luke Rojas, what's up, man? Luke, you got to come on the show tonight. Luke Rojas and me and nobody else. How about that, Luke? You call up tonight. We'll put you on and nobody else. The Ghost from the Coast dropped $100. John Doe dropped the 5 spot. It's Christmas time. God knows we need the money. Ho, 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 Merry. You guys want me to bring this donation back right now? Want me to bring it back right now? Let's make it, what do you want to make it? 25-25 for Christmas? Let's make it 25-25.
Got too drunk on Christmas night. I got too drunk on Christmas night. I should have hung myself from the Christmas night.
Let's bring it back tonight.
I got too fucking drunk on Christmas night. I got too fucking drunk.
I'm going to do it right now. It's just for you.
I should have hung myself from the Christmas lights. I got too fucking drunk on Christmas night. I hope Santa runs me over with his goddamn sleigh. I should've got drunk on Christmas. Woo.
Mm-hmm. Ho, 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 Merry. Ho, ho, ho. What's wrong with me, dude? All right, let's bring back the Christmas donation. All right. Do we got it? I'm bringing it back right now.
Super chat party.
Keep up the great work. Appreciate all the entertainment you provide. Can't believe I've been listening to you for 8 years. Leah, wake up.
Jesus, it's getting so close to 10 years for you. Leah, wake up. Me and Leah got in a little fight before I started this show. That's why I was late to the show. It wasn't like a bad fight, but like I sort of like was like, I was trying to remember the words to Grand Old Flag. Like, you're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or a brag. And should all acquaintance be forgot, keep your eyes on that grand old flag. Something like that. And I couldn't really remember how it went exactly. And then Leah told me how it went, which is basically about how I just said it just now. And I was like, no, that's not at all what it is. I don't know why, but it was the ending part. You're the emblem of the land I love. The part after that, I couldn't remember. And I was like, that's not at all what it goes like or whatever. And Leah was like, no, that's what it is. But right before that, Leah was like, I don't remember that song. And I'm like, okay. So like, I went up to Leah and I was like, hey, you remember that? You remember? You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. And I was like singing it to her, and she's like, I don't remember that. No. And I'm like, okay. And then when I got to the end, I couldn't remember the last part that changes. And then she was like, it's like this. And I'm like, wait a minute. A minute ago, you didn't even know what I was talking about. And so then I was like, you're wrong, you know? Hey, MWM, thank you for 8 years, man. MWM, thank you for 8 years on the channel. So I was like, yeah, and then she got mad at me for just basically the idea of me not like thinking she could be right or whatever, and she like lost her fucking mind on me. And I was trying to be like, hey, like I'm a dumb idiot. Like you're brilliant and I'm stupid. You know what I mean? I work 2 jobs all day. You know, I'm a dumb moron. You know, I come home, you got a VR on your head. You know. Dude, I came home actually, and it was fucking, the kids were like fighting. My wife like dealt with fighting kids all day and crazy other shit. But yeah, I was trying to piss her off. Let's see if she answers me now. Yeah, let's see if she responds. I texted her. I think I pissed her off. I was, because she thought that I was saying she was wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know. Damn, bro. Very new year. I simply cannot fucking wait. Meanwhile, all of you have been concerned at the sight of me using a cane. Can be rest assured that it will be well in a matter of months. Shirley Manson, 6 years ago, apparently. This is crazy. I love Shirley Manson. First of all, I love Garbage. I'm a Garbage fan of the band Garbage. But, like, I loved Shirley Manson growing up. I thought I just wanted to bang her. Like, she was unbelievably hot, whatever. And I think she's hot now, even, like, as an older woman now. I mean, she's, like, 60. But, she fell off the stage and busted her hip 6 years ago, I guess, and she's been in pain for years, and they're giving her a new hip, I guess, so she's taking a new hip. Crazy. It's really hard to believe Shirley Manson was that hot back in 1998, and she was like 30. Like, that's fucking crazy. Because I always thought Shirley Manson was I thought she was like 20 or something when Garbage got huge. And she wasn't. She was like 32. I always think that that's wild. Like, Shirley Manson was like not that much younger than my wife when Garbage took off. And, I mean, she looked like a friggin' crazy hot person. Like, it was unbelievable. And now she's like 60, like grandma looking in some ways. But yet, like, still is like hot in a weird, like, way. Man, yeah, it's weird. It's hard to believe that's her, man. It's so weird. But hey, man, people get old. We all get old. And people die, you know. Everything dies. All right, let's go over to the man here. Why can't I do this? What the hell's wrong with me? Here we go. That 1993, that 1939 to 1945 show. What's that, World War II? That's what they should come out with, is that 1940s show. And it's like Hitler. And Hitler has to deal with like one of his like best commanders or generals. Children like live in the back of the whatever building. And, like, the kids get high. And, like, meanwhile, in the background, they're throwing people into ovens and shit. Like, oh, my God, bro. Luke Rojas, I'm coming, brother. I'll be there in a second, dude. And then, like, there are people just beating each other down and beating each other up and just raping and pillaging and plundering each other. And just, the show, and that 1940 show, it ends with the Japanese people, like, burning in the fucking Hiroshima. Like, just... need a hero.
After midnight, in my wildest fantasy, somewhere just beyond my reach, there's someone reaching back for me, racing on the thunder and rising with the heat.
Oh my God!
It's gonna take a Superman to sweep me off my feet. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. And he's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast. He's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. And he's gotta be sure, he's gotta be soon. He's gotta be larger than life, larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
She was wrong, lol.
She was wrong. She was wrong. Never tell them they're wrong. In fact, you're always wrong. I got to remember that. Sometimes I fuck up. You know, even the idea that I'm confused that she could be wrong is a problem. You got to remember that. Like, I'm in trouble because the idea that I thought that could be wrong. You got to be wrong every time. I mean, in this case, I was wrong. You know what I mean? You got to be wrong, bro. You got to be bad. You got to be bold. You got to be stronger. You got to be hard. You got to be... Like, what the fuck with that song, bro? What a weird song. You don't understand.
Hey, Bullfrog is a moron.
Scissor me, Joe!
Joe, what's up with all these cars plowing into buildings lately? Someone just smashed through a CVS today where I'm at, not too far from you. # prescription pills.
Really? Well, yeah, you know, I mean, first of all, COVID, people having explosive heart attacks. I think I've got inflammation all over my body, for Christ's sake. So first of all, there's COVID, right? There's that. There's this weird inflammation. Dude, I don't feel right still. Ever since I had COVID, right? It's been going on, this weird shit. So there's that. You know, then there's drugs, weird drugs that they give everybody. You know what I mean? And so that's going on. People are just too old driving. Oh, Gloucester? It happened in Gloucester? Dude, what the fuck is going on in Massachusetts right now? Is this because we banned guns in Massachusetts and, like, so people are just using vehicles? Ban all automobiles. We need to start banning these vehicles, bro. Like, as soon as possible, dude. Like, this is getting out of hand, brother. What's going on in Massachusetts right now, huh?
From radiant reindeer to sparkly snowmen, Holiday Light Spectacular is Roger Williams Park Zoo's newest tradition. Stroll through festive, larger-than-life...
Well, welcome to Roger Williams Park Zoo, where we just decorate shit with lights. It's amazing, guys. Come and see it. Bring the kids. Do I really got to watch an ad? What is going on in this ad? Like, dude, they're like rave aliens having sex and, like, flirting with each other. Man, that chick's actually kind of hot. She got red hair. Robot. What am I watching? An unnarrated news video? What is this? Police say the suspect had sex with 3 of the people. Dude, there's no video to this. I mean, there's no audio. I'm just watching video. There's no news narration, so I don't even know what we're looking at. Look at this. This is video from the scene, but there's no... What is this? There's no narration. You could just make up whatever you wanted to this. In fact, I'll do it right now. Thanks, Christy. We're outside of the hotel where 7 men sexually assaulted a deer. 4 of the men were seen stuffing their peckers inside the deer's mouth, while the 2 other men were seen pleasuring themselves in the background. Several eyewitnesses said the men were doing it for several minutes before police were called to the scene. The deer was harmed severely and received medical treatment from a veterinarian nearby. The veterinarian did say that the deer suffered anal penetrating wounds that would not heal overnight, and therefore the deer needed corrective surgery on its anus cavity. Now, after speaking to Police Chief John Shregum, I've been informed that there may be multiple violations here filed and crimes being filed here, so they're handling this scene with precaution. All of the bodily fluids from the men and the deer have been accounted for, and several school children who are on a field trip nearby witnessed the event. The damage to them immense. The parents have been contacted, and several of the parents I spoke to this afternoon. One of them saying this is a horrific incident, and where were the school teachers who were supposed to be watching the kids in the hotel? Well, that has yet to be figured out, and why the kids were unchaperoned in the hallways of the hotel, in the lobby especially, where this took place. I mean, so you can just make this, there's no narration. What's happening here? Anyway, I don't know. I'm just, you don't see that a lot. You don't see just, oh, here's raw video of something. Like, I mean, that's not normal usually. Usually there's like a whole bunch of shit and I don't know, whatever. The Ghost from the Coast, thank you for the $40 on top of the 100. Big G in the house. And now we go to the man himself. The man with people that look like they could be related to him in the crowd on Monday Night Raw now every week, apparently. Luke Rojas is here.
Why? Because they're fat neck beards?
Yes. Did you see these people? Was that not your dad in the crowd the other night? I mean, what was that?
My dad's dead, Joe.
You think so?
I don't like that. I don't like to joke about that, so let's not.
Get out of here. Get out of here. I think I said one night that I'd dig my dad up and rape him. Like, let's just...
And then I think I laughed.
I said I'd rape his bones. And then I said, let's dig up Tommy's and mine and see who has the bigger bony dick. So, you know, I mean, like, you know, I'm no stranger to digging up my father, who passed away right before Thanksgiving, by the way, in 1992. I'll never forget that Thanksgiving. Have you ever eaten turkey while crying as an 8-year-old? Because I did. You know, you're looking forward to all your cousins coming over and all the turkey and mashed potatoes, and it's going to be a fun time, and then Dad dies, and then you still have the Thanksgiving. You know, all the cousins say, no, we're coming over to be with you. Which, dude, I never forgot that about my cousins. And I don't see my cousins a ton. But one thing I will say is one of my cousins is up the street from me. One of those cousins is actually up the street from me. Since I moved out here, I'm closer to one of them. And, you know, I love them. You know, we don't talk a whole bunch. But, like, in fact, that cousin, not related to my family, but the husband of my cousin, who is like my cousin to me anyway, he was the one who recorded WrestleMania 10 for me because I couldn't see WrestleMania 10 live. So he recorded WrestleMania 10 on tape, and I still have the tape in the other room. And, yeah, so he was that cool. He was like, oh, you're not going to see it? I'll record it for you. And he dropped it off in my mailbox. I'll never forget it. And he must have been probably like 25 or 27 at the time or something when he did that. And my cousin, like, I'll never forget that he did that, man. It meant a lot to me. So
I've had a few cousins hit me up this year that I don't really talk to that much about, you know, just because my dad died. And, you know, like, even though I don't.
Oh, you faded out again, Luke. Let me see if I can bring you back.
Oh, I fucking hate this.
You're all right
phone.
now.
I
Now you're
hate
better.
this fucking phone.
What kind of phone you got? Obama phone?
No, I have a good phone. I use Discord on it, so of course it fucks up all the time, and the service over here isn't the best anyway. But yeah, I completely relate to what you're saying, like, because I had a bunch of cousins hit me up after my dad died that I don't really talk to much.
Right. Oh, there he goes again. God damn, that I don't really talk too much, and then let me turn the bandwave down a little bit. The bandwidth. Well, I turned the bandwidth down a little bit, Rojas, but you're still blanked out. But you know what, man? There's somebody who watches the show who's younger than you, and I grew up with his sister. I was dating his sister for a long time, and his mother just passed away. So like I hope he's okay if he's watching. But I was thinking about him. But yeah, I think about you, man. It's hard. It's hard, man. Like, I mean, I was very alone because it was me and my mom only in New Hampshire. So them coming over for Thanksgiving was really good for us. You know, to be around people and stuff like that and see them. Hopefully Rojas can come back. I don't know. His shit out on him. But yeah. Joe, one of the killers that killed Jordan's dad has been granted parole. What? Really? All right, let's go bounce a basketball off his dick and his head. What up, testosterone? How you doing, man? You want to give me some testosterone? Go ahead.
Shit bum.
Joe, all bullshit aside, as much as I love talking about raping and pillaging and butt stuff, what are your thoughts about Raw 30 in Philly? I'm sure you saw the logo. Considering flying there, but win probably let down, fuck my life.
Wow. What, because 93, yeah, 93, 13, no, 93, 03, 13. Wait, what? Raw 30? What is, wait a minute. Raw 30. Dude, if you type in Raw 30 in the Google search, all that comes up is porn videos. Because it looks like Raw XXX. Dude, they better change that shit. Raw XXX. Raw is XXX. Oh my God, bro.
Well, they have to get DX back for that.
Yeah, dude. If you know, now remember what Triple H said? Well, we can't put China, in the Hall of Fame because, the things she did. And what if a kid Googles China, and what are they gonna see? We have to think about that. Yeah, you have to think about that about China if you Google her. But what about if you Google Raw XXX? Because I just did it, and motherfucker, I saw a cock.
Or what if you Google fucking Jimmy Superfly Snuka murders?
Yeah. Well, hey, what if I Google rape Triple H? How about that? Like, we're gonna really.
Yeah, and then we find out when you forcibly married your wife.
Right. That's terrible. Oh.
No, that was a storyline. He did actually do it.
Oh yeah, he did forcibly while she was on drugs, unconscious. I mean, I get it.
And we were all supposed to be like, ha ha, you probably banged her too. Fucking bitch, deserved it.
Oh. Imagine if he just bashed her in the face with a shovel and then just fucking got, because in that car, and I love that you still know about all this stuff, but in that convertible that they were in when they got married, if he just got up on his, on the seat on his legs and then just started smashing it in her mouth, in deep throat, just bashing it in her mouth. She's out.
Forcing the sledgehammer in her mouth.
Take the game, Sledge. Take the Sledge, Steph. And he just fucking jams it in her, underneath while he's still in her mouth. And she's like, and yeah.
And that's when that's when his old music was playing. So
right.
Time to get a little bit of Triple H.
Not trying to be like anybody.
I remember I had they had that CD that came out when that song was on that. It was a green looking logo. WWF,
everything about Triple H is green. He's like the Hulk.
WWF, the music. It might have been Volume 3. Let me see if it's Volume 3. Dude, if I'm right about this, then I'm fucking God.
I always loved that theme song.
It was 4. It was Volume 4. I was wrong. But you know what's funny is the music Volume 3 was they really upgraded on the music Volume 4 because when I went to the CD store, the record store, when I went to the CD store to get the CD after school, because I went after school to go get it, it looked pretty good. This was the logo. It was actually kind of cool. It had kind of the DX inspired look, but the Attitude Era logo. It was cool. It was a cool logo for the 4th.
That's such a dude. That was the biggest 1999 2000 thing. Was everything in WWE was green or neon for some reason. WrestleMania 2000 was super green.
Well, dude, no, the neon. I mean, early 90s and 80s, late 80s and early 90s was super neon, right?
Maybe not neon, but sickly bright green.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, WrestleMania 2000 was kind of that green and black. which is great because I loved that. Because, you know, it was really in. It was really in, man. Like, Typo Negative was green and black. Stabbing Westward was green and black. Xbox was green and black. WWE did a lot of green and black stuff. Yeah, just green and black was in from, like, 1997 to, like, 2001. It was just, like, green and black. Love it.
And didn't just the presentation back then feel so much cooler? Like, not even that, like, it's more professional. Because
Yes,
I think we probably have made better advancements now.
Well, and by the way, you know, and sometimes it looks old too. It looks dated because you know how old shit, like, they, you know, you record something on a VHS. And I thought about this the other day when I was looking at old black and white things. When we think about the 1940s and the 1930s and the 1950s, what we think about is, like, how old it looks, and it's black and white, and it looks so old. But it's like, dude, back then it didn't look like that. Back then, everything was vibrant just like it is today. It just had a slightly different look. But we're so used to seeing grainy video and black and white footage that you almost picture it looking all hokey like that, when it really, even though it did look different, it was a different time, we will never see how actually regular and vibrant it looked like now. Because it doesn't translate. Just like a 1998 Raw, a lot of times you watch it on YouTube, and it's in 4:3, so that looks different and kind of weird right now. But also, it just, like, the tape is grainy, and it got older looking because the tape wore out. Then someone uploaded it to YouTube, and now it looks kind of, like, dated.
And it looks like the footage has just been, like, smothered with, like, some sort of, like gross,
shitty Instagram filter.
Yeah, like Vaseline has been rubbed all over the fucking footage. I don't know. Like, everything is so weird and smoky, but I think it gives I think it gives the Attitude Era this great vibe because it makes the arena feel bigger. And of course, when people would take pictures of the moves, you know, with the cameras and the lens flares would all go off when a big move would happen. You just don't get that now because everything, you know, is on digital cameras, and the presentation is a little bit too crisp, I think. Well, like, it's almost, I don't know, you lost something there once they made that move to HD that I don't think we've had in wrestling for a while.
Let me tell you something. Tucker Carlson is here. I want to hear from him in just a second, but before we do that, Jennifer Muppet Baby just tweeted out that this is bizarre. She tweeted out, like, just a few weeks ago that she was listening to this, and I don't have Twitter, so I didn't see this. But this is completely random that this would be going on, but she's listening to the WWE The Music, or WWF The Music, Volume 4 in her car not that long ago. That's fucking crazily weird. That's a weird coincidence. Yo, Tucker Carlson, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, fellas. I just wanted to say hello to you two. And I wanted to say the presentation is too crisp. It's too good.
Yep. Nobody
wants to see that shit. It looked much better when it was. It almost makes it look better that it's grainy. And,
raw. It's not even. I know what it is, and here's the problem. One of the issues is that the lighting is too, like, similar everywhere. Like, it's so bright and clear everywhere that nothing looks different. Like, the outside of the ring doesn't look different. The inside of the ring doesn't look different. The ramp doesn't really look that different. The backstage doesn't look different. Nothing looks different anywhere. The crowd is overly lit. The whole thing is just fucking overly lit that it's you can't really get a sense of atmosphere or change. And obviously Raw in 98, 97, 96, 99 even, it had a grittiness to it, and it had different tones, and it was lit unevenly and differently. And when they went and did different things didn't look the same. So it's a little thing, but that's what makes it feel like it's just a video game or something.
It really is the lighting. I mean, especially, I can notice the difference of Raw and SmackDown back in the Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression Era all the time, because Raw was a lot more, of course, it was red, but it felt a little bit more darker on the show. Like, the lighting was a little bit more darker. And when you got to SmackDown, it felt more bright and vibrant, and, like, you know, because it was the new youthful, like, wrestling show that was trying to stick it to Raw and be its own thing. So, you know, you got a sense of true character in just the way the shows were presented. That's, you know, differentiated them. And kind of the same.
When I was a kid, it's not because I was a kid that it was so much cooler. Like, I watch it now, the intros, The song. Like,
Oh
it was
yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
but
no,
we don't have anything like that now.
It's literally everything had an intensity that they don't have now. Everything. Dude, even look at this
And
Bobby Heenan and Gorilla photo. Is my video on? Yeah. Just like the contrasts around their shoulders and the back of their heads, and they're not overly lit, and the crowd behind them, see how blurry the crowd looks because the camera can't pick stuff like that up back. It's just like things looked a little bit different. Now, this isn't the greatest example, but it looks more like a football game in the, back then.
I completely agree. That looks more iconic than something that's taken today, not just because I know who those people are, but just the way it's presented. It just
because it's always the shot behind the desk. They're going to be behind the commentary table at ringside, and they could be anywhere. If at WrestleMania, it looks about the same. At Raw, it looks the same. At NXT, it looks the same. So it just always looks the same. Would they never think of framing a different shot or doing something sort of different where things look different? They never do it. Never. They don't even go to a shot where, you remember sometimes, especially when Vince McMahon was doing commentary, they would go to a shot where Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler were standing next to ringside, and they would be like, "I'm Vince McMahon with Jerry the King Lawler. This is in your house."
Yes.
And like they're standing next to the ring with the crowd behind them, getting sort of a different shot. And then later they're back at the side of the ring. So just little things like that all over the place. But it's always just sitting at the table. Well, we're here, and that's all. It's the same thing every time. It's never different.
Well, you know what? They did something. They were trying to bring that back. Do you remember when they put the announce table at the stage?
Up on the stage.
For
yeah,
Raw?
I always hated that.
They did that. They did that previously in the Ruthless Aggression era, and it lasted for like less than a year because it's a stupid idea. But they did have somewhat creative angles where they would be like sitting with their back turned against the table and standing up. So that did break a little bit of the monotony. But then again, it was just like I don't know. I'd never liked the commentary booth like in that area, but. We were talking about how like all the shows feel the same. The closest thing that got to the intensity, I think, of at least the Ruthless Aggression era was, NXT a few years ago. Like they had different lighting for their matches, especially at takeover events where like the entire arena would be pitch black and there'd be a spotlight only on the ring, and it really made the match feel so important. Like wherever they are right now, they could be wrestling in a void for wherever they are right now.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The only thing that you're focusing on is the match. You're not focusing on green shirt guy or the guy who fucking looks like he takes steroids and he's at every event, with the UFC shirt. Which
look
one
at
I'm
this.
talking
This is
about.
what you're talking about. Look at how dark this is. Like and listen,
Joe,
yes, Tucker.
I did donate to. I do have to find out what you think about that Raw 30 show. Like, you see the logo, you see what they're going for, but do you think that it's going to be worth a shit as a television show, or is it going to be the same old like, oh man, I wonder if they're going to have the old set and like the stage set, and I wonder if they're going to do this, I wonder if they're going to do that, and then they do nothing.
Yeah, you know what? I hope they do, because we've seen them do the red, white, and blue ropes for the Raw retro type of thing, right?
Right.
So wouldn't it be cool if they tried their best to do like the Raw is War thing, but with the Raw XXX logo? But
exactly. We still, to this day, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because every time they do this old school Raw thing, I'm like, I wonder if they're going to do the Attitude Era shit. And they
haven't done that. And that'd be cool. And it'd be really cool is if that was when they announced they were going back to TV 14. They're not going to do that probably, but that'd be kind of cool if they like.
Well, it is the last Raw before the Rumble.
Hey, listen, if you could do it, if they could do it, I would do it. I still am in that mentality though of like, oh, this is all safe for some kind of sale to somebody.
what they always do for retro Raws is they take some weird ambiguous time zone in WWE history. It's like, oh yeah, you remember when Stone Cold came out with the original block logo version of the WWF logo, but it's WWE. It's like this ambiguous time period that never
they
happened.
never talk about the era, you know. They
Yeah,
always go
it's
around
just like it's just a hodgepodge of eras, and it's like it's retro. They did the same thing with the SmackDown thing
I know, but to
last
be fair,
year.
we've never. This is the first time that Triple H is going to be doing a retro Raw, and I mean, you see the logo, you see what he's going for.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
it-
it's so weird. Like, oh, we can't put China in the Hall of Fame because they might look up. But all I'm getting when you type in Raw 30 or Raw XXX, I mean, I'm telling you, bro, type Raw XXX.
Look up WWE Raw 30.
No, even if you type in WWE, in the first few links are still Pornhub.
I got it. When I first saw that logo, I marked out so hard. I didn't think it was real. And then I found out it was, and I immediately looked up flights, and I was like, oh, man, I got to go. Because what if they do have the old stage set or some shit? You know what I mean? Like,
that'd be pretty cool.
If they had that and I wasn't there, I would never forgive myself.
Raw is XXX 30. Raw is 30. I mean, dude, it's all over. Like, dude, if you type that in, you're going to get dicks and cum and pussies insertions. Like, I mean, go type that in. I'm telling you. It's amazing.
Well, does anybody remember when they did last year when they did Throwback SmackDown, because it was a Fox thing, and it was literally the laziest. They had been pumping it up all week, and it was the laziest I've ever seen. The only difference that
no
like
fist.
was kind of
Everybody
cool,
thought the fist was coming.
Well, yeah, but the only thing that was kind of cool was that the referees wore blue shirts like they used to in the Ruthless Aggression era. Everything else was fake old school WWE logos, even though it was WWF back then, so it doesn't even make sense. And it wasn't even the scratch logo that they were using. Like, it wasn't era appropriate. So hopefully they put a little bit more thought into the stage, and maybe we'll even get like a fucking Attitude Era stage. That would be so cool, you know?
That would be the coolest thing since I was a child to ever happen in wrestling. I mean, if I walked, like, even on TV, if I saw that, I would lose my shit.
But then again, you have to wonder how much money it is that they're willing to spend on just one-off shows.
Think about, I mean, how much can that set really be? It was a giant screen, like a little ramp, like fucking a couple light towers or camera towers or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cheap.
It's an easy night for the stage crew, you know? Just
yeah, very
stuff
easy.
up there.
I mean, that would be the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Well, you know what? Speaking of the 90s professional wrestling, what about that 90s show? Now, how do they incorporate that into WWE?
Well, they got
is the real question.
What I noticed is they checked off all the boxes. They got Asian, black, and all women. All women instead of the guy. There's a girl. They checked off all the boxes. I watched the trailer and I was like, "Yep, they checked."
Didn't it feel like a fucking like an advertisement on a DVD?
No, yeah, like if like a Super Bowl commercial or something. Like this ain't. They're not
it
gonna
didn't.
really do this.
I didn't even think it felt like a Super Bowl commercial. It felt like something you'd see in 2008 when you buy like season 6 of Friends or something, and it's like, oh, the trailer to that 90s show coming up. Like such outdated font and just the editing of the trailer really did feel like something out of like the mid 2000s. But what was weird about it was the casting was very just. I don't know, like, yeah, it was just a bunch of, like, like, oh, we got the black girl, we got the Asian guy, we got the possibly gay
Hispanic
person.
They got everybody. I'm telling you, bro, listen, when I was a kid, where I grew up, at least when I grew up in Quincy, we had tons of, we were all kinds of mixes of different people. Like, you know what I mean? I grew up with every different kind of person. But, you know the agenda nowadays, and it's just funny. So, of course, the main character is a girl. And then there's the other girl. They have every other race. We got every race. All right, cool. Like, and then this kid's gonna be gay, so I can already tell by looking at him. So there's
the Asian kid.
Yeah. So I don't think this kid with the bowl cut right here.
I can't see him.
This kid's gonna be gay. So they're gonna check. So this isn't gonna be that 90s show. This is gonna be that woke show. That's what this is gonna be.
Nah, because you know what? I noticed something from watching shows in the 90s. A lot of them did have pretty, like, weirdly diverse casts.
They did. Well, no, they did, and I agree that they should. But no, I'm used to that, so this doesn't seem that. But it's just like, oh yeah, come on. But that '70s show was all like, you know, I mean, all the white kids except for the one foreign kid, right?
Well, that was 20 years prior, you know. So
I know.
mean,
it's true.
Things are different.
But I mean, they should be. They're not. But you know what, Rojas? They shouldn't be different. They're not different until nowadays. Because they're always telling us how the 90s, everybody was still a big racist and it was terrible. And it's like, nah, dude, in the 90s, we were like, wow, life was fucked up in the 50s. That's what we thought. Like, oh, wow, there was like racism in the... We didn't think we were. We thought we all get together now and it's a whole different thing. But now in the 2020s, they're like, oh, the night... Like, it's like, no, dude, you're fucking just made up that it was like this terrible fucking thing.
Well, it's the same. It's like the same with every generation where it's like, people from the present just being like, wow, I can't believe people are such pieces of shit from 15 to 20 years ago when things were different. Like, yeah, things have evolved. Like, people have learned, like, hey, maybe it's not okay to call somebody a you know, I can't even say it on the fucking stream anymore.
I know, right?
It's my favorite word.
You know what it is?
Word.
Really, is it? Oh man, it's my favorite type of person to get caught with in a basement room when you're drunk.
It's my favorite type of insult to throw at the younger nephew who won't keep his mouth shut. What are you, a little?
Yeah. So
well, you know what though, I am still kind of excited for the show. Like, even though I do have this feeling like, oh my god, I already can tell it's gonna be woke joke, something alluding to Trump. Like, they're all gonna be like, well, at least he's not gonna run for president.
Yeah, that's gonna be. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Starts the clapping for like 30 seconds, or they're all just like standing awkwardly and they're ready to talk, but then like clapping keeps on going, so they just stop again. Like, oh.
Because I'm
just imagining that cringy moment.
The big thing in the 90s is like people liked Trump. That's why it's gonna be it'd be ridiculous because people liked him. Only like insiders. I feel like only insiders and only people who were like much older at the time knew that Trump was douchey. Like, if you've ever seen Gremlins 2, they modeled Mr. Clampett after Trump, right? And so at some point in the movie, he's like, oh, there's a great, you know, it'd be a great idea, Mr. Clampett, if you did this. That's right. People would love me. People would love it. Like, and it's like they make Clampett like this fucking idiot scumbag business guy. And he's mirrored after Trump. But it's when did Gremlins 2 come out? 1990? I don't know. 1989, 1991? I forget. One of those 3 years. But like, dude, they mirrored him after Trump, and that was one of the only times somebody like really got like Trump's weirdness. And that movie's hilarious. If you watch it and you realize that Clampett is Trump, it's really funny. Like, it's
but you know what?
hilarious.
I can't stand people who like now who will bring that up and be like, hey,
yeah,
I just stepped up the joke, guys. Like this, it's like the same type of person who will like, hey guys. Did you know Die Hard is like a Christmas movie? Like, my favorite Christmas movie. We get it. You're not fucking special. You're not, all right? So don't try to feel special.
Well, it's just that someone always starts that fight. It's the someone like, oh, I'm going to be the first one this year to say Die Hard's not a Christmas movie or Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And it's like, you know what? Fuck yourself. Like, at this point.
Nobody gives a shit. We all agreed on it 15 years ago.
You know what a Christmas movie is? The one you turn on Christmas and watch it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like you can, if you want to watch the Human Centipede on Christmas Day, I mean, it'd be called a Christmas movie. Just put a Santa hat on top of it.
I want to put the Human Centipede up my ass is what I want to do. Put a big fucking...
Well, you know what? That's how it felt. That's kind of how it felt watching that Ronda Rousey and Shotzi match. It was having a fucking Human Centipede.
Jesus.
Crawling up my intestines.
You can't have somebody who's had like 30 matches ever now, 20 or 30 matches ever, Ronda, in there with a girl that sucks. Like, that was awful.
I kind of like Shotzi. I kind of like her personality, and she's like one of those girls.
I agree, but she's
one of those girls who like you wouldn't get it at first, but like if you kept looking at her, like, man, she really is so fucking sexy. You know, she's got that 90s attractiveness to her. But yeah, she's not very good in the ring, but neither is Ronda. So it was like Ronda at one point kicked Shotzi so fucking hard that Shotzi like flew back like 50 feet, and it didn't look like she was acting. It looked like Ronda just for no reason stiff kicked her like the shit out of her. And this happens a lot in Ronda's matches where she just gets like so violent in there, and it doesn't look bad because, you know, she's actually connecting, but it doesn't look safe, you know?
Yeah, it looks like almost like she forgot, like, oh yeah, I'm in.
You raised a piece of shit.
Oh. Mickey K9 has become a member. Mickey K9, thank you for being a member again, man. How long is it? 16 months. Jesus. 16 months for Mickey K9. Thank you to Victim Basher before that. Big G, the Ghost from the Coast, dropping 40 and $100 bomb. MWM 2 times with the $4.99. John Doe. All during this Wednesday night or Tuesday night stream. God, I don't know what fucking day it is anymore. I thought Leah might actually come on for a minute. Talk about
You raised
that.
a piece of shit.
I haven't seen her. Allison Tukwab has become a member. And how many months is that? 3 months, Allison, I think? Here, let me see. Let me look. I think that's 3 months for Allison. Thank you, Allison. Let me verify that. Yes. 3 months in a row. Hi, Joe. How was your day? I mean, it was okay. I had a long day at work.
There's something
going
on
whoa!
Up in space. There's something going on up in this place. There's something weird kinda happening, strange kinda
Allison.
happening. Things are kinda happening. What the fuck is happening? Aliens, extraterrestrials. They gave me a shot. Nanotechnology. I'm not me. You're not you. La la la. I'm fucking crazy. Split personality. Scott McKinnon.
Allison Tukwab.
Hi Joe, how are you doing today?
I am doing
beer.
Ooh, I'm getting beers from Allison. Allison, thank you
for dropping a beer on me.
A whole lot of beers coming from Allison. God damn, on a Tuesday night. Tuesday night might be the new home for Monetize This on Tuesday nights. Imagine that. It used to be on Wednesday nights.
Monetize This just happens. Whatever day it happens, you just have to deal with it. You know?
It might be. It might be going that way. Leah, what did you mean I wasn't on?
Didn't see.
Oh.
I figured it out, obviously.
Why are you so quiet? Is your mic messed up?
Yeah. It's been that way for a long time.
Really? It's quiet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone says it.
Okay, well, we know what Leah's getting for Christmas. A cum shot. No. The girl at my work said that she has the $300 version of your headset. And she's like, it's fucking awesome.
Wish I had it.
You know what, though? I'd be terrified that someone would drop it or you'd break, somebody would break, and then you would just flip out. That's going to come with a big warranty, though, right?
Probably if you buy it.
Take a whole paycheck and drop it on a headset for your wife who games. Is that worth it? Yeah, I think so. Because you know what? Yeah, actually, I need a new headset, too. My headphones are $10 headphones, and they sound like shit. As I'm speaking, it doesn't even sound good. You know how normally I have headphones on, and I'm, talking, and it sounds great? Yes, I'm on the radio. It sounds really good. But, now, it sounds like... that's what these fucking headphones... I mean, that's why they're $9. But, so you saw that 90s show trailer. By the way, Leah, Raw is going XXX. I don't know if you know this.
What does that even mean?
It's the 30th year of Raw.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be like a porno thing.
Well, yeah, if you type it in, you can't even find Raw. All you find out is big cocks going into holes and creaming everyone. I'm telling you.
But
like,
they won't let China in the Hall of Fame because
we can't put China in the Hall of Fame. Well, what's the reason for that? Well, you know, think about it. With what she did, like if a kid, imagine a kid, an 8-year-old, 10-year-old, whatever, goes on, they type in China. Like, I want to look up who's China. She's going to the Hall of Fame. And they find, you know, what are they going to find, you know? Okay, well, what if a kid's looking up Raw XXX? I mean, like, this company is so full of shit.
Isn't, like, somebody else in that video, too?
Yeah, X-Pac, and he's on the TV all the time. And his name is X-Pac, which sounds like X-Sac. So, yeah, it's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, but the X-Pac didn't suck Triple H's dick, so Stephanie doesn't have a problem.
No, that's the thing. X-Pac did do that. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It probably sucked him to be on the show.
He still does it to this day. That's the thing that China stopped doing.
Now X-Pac carries around a dog so he doesn't cry everywhere he goes.
It would have been funny if he brought out the dog during the during the reunion.
Right. I feel terrible.
What's he gonna the dogs don't last forever. Does he get like another one?
I said this before. I'm concerned when that dog I hope people are around him. Look at how bad I was with Melly. Can you imagine that? And I think I'm pretty, unstable and whatever, and I have problems. I obviously have problems. X-Pac is
we literally went and got another dog because we were like, this is awful.
Well,
time to fill the void.
X-Pac is worse than me. Like, he's worse than me. Like, he shakes when he's in crowds and stuff like that. Like, he has to have the dog with him or he fucking starts crying and coming and shitting in his pants. I don't know. So
well, I mean, maybe it depends on how big the dog is. I mean, he could just, once it's dead, he can just carry it around with him like it's like a doll or something.
He probably would.
Get it taxidermied?
I was going to say that. He would get it taxidermied and then he'd cry over the and listen, I'm not trying to make fun of him.
Taxidermied.
Yeah. Break
carries
it down.
around its rotting corpse.
I mean, he goes everywhere with this dog, man. Like, he needs it. He goes to the Hall of Fame. He's holding on to the dog, crying.
My favorite X-Pac moment is when he was disgusted with that ending to Hell in a Cell.
Oh yeah.
He's just like, that's not how you end a match. You disqualify in a Hell in a Cell match. And all the other people, besides Natalia, who also looked disgusted, everybody else was just trying to be like, no, that's the referee's decision, man. He's just like, well, that's fucking bullshit.
I think X-Pac might have heard me say something. Although, you know what? I didn't say anything bad about X-Pac until he blocked me on Twitter. And I don't know why he blocked me on Twitter. But it pissed me off so much that's when I started making fun of him and his dog. But I will say that I do think X-Pac's a nice guy. Especially now, he's like a sweetheart of a guy. He really is. And his dog's nice. And I'm sure he did some horrific shit in his past to be this sweet now. You know what I mean? Who knows what he did to whoever, but it's probably not good. But he's different now, I'll say that. But he did block me, and I don't know why. And so fuck him. I'm going to make fun of him and his dog. Even though I had the same issues with my dog. I get it. It's very sad. But Leah, what did you think of that 90s show, the trailer? I mean, before you tell me what you think, which is rude, I'm gonna cut you off before you start. Oh my God, that hurt my ears. That blew my eardrum. Wow, that really is killing me. So I just want to point out that we know the Hollywood agenda, right? Get rid of a guy, put in a girl. It's number one. And then the next Hollywood agenda is, get rid of all the straight white people.
Don't think when you're doing a reboot in this type of situation, I don't think that's Hollywood agenda.
You don't think so?
To reverse the roles like that, sort of, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, it changes it a bit.
No, I agree with you.
Instead
Like, what are you gonna do?
The exact same thing.
Yeah, another boy, the same type of people. You gotta mix things up. But my thing is, I think we're in for some woke. Like, we've got, and listen. Here's the thing. It's not that
before you freak out.
I'm not mad because my friends were like this. We had a gay friend. We had, black, mostly white, but Hispanic, Asian. We had everybody. We had everybody in our groups. Like I said, it's not.
Yeah, there's a gay character.
Oh, there is? I said that. I go, oh my God, that kid's got to be gay. So there's Hispanic, black, Asian, gay, no straight white guy.
I think all the other guys are white.
What other
straight.
guys?
Yeah, there's like 15 people in this cast. It was like There's a lot of
Okay,
people.
I guess what maybe this retarded fat kid in the background there with the backwards hat. And by the way, he does look like he may be autistic. I'm just saying.
I know who the gay kid
That's
is.
me, actually.
No, I know who the gay kid is too because he's wearing a white sweater right here. I can tell that's the gay kid.
It's the Asian.
Oh, it's the what?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who's gay, and then there's a guy who looks gay.
Well, a lot of people in the 90s looked metrosexual, so.
That's what I was about to get to. So you have to remember that it's the 90s.
What? Well, nothing's more metro than now.
Anyway,
but-
it's the 90s. Are you kidding me? Like, people used to say stuff all the time. Like, they'd be like, "Oh, they must be gay." Like every single boy band ever was just, "Oh, they're all gay," and stuff like that. Like, that's super common.
They said that about Ricky Martin. He was gay.
Yeah, there you go. So, but the other thing too is that 70s show, had gay characters too. They weren't like main cast characters, but that was brought up like multiple times.
Right.
So it's not
Yeah.
like
I'm
it's
fine.
not like oh, it's new and they're putting it in and it's their agenda. It's like, well, they did it in the 90s during that 70s show too.
That's the reason why I don't have a problem with this, because when I was in the 90s, again, all our friends were like this too. We had a diverse group of friends. But Hollywood was like, well, we got it, because they got a black, Asian person, Hispanic, they've got gay kid, and
Yeah, but that's not. See, this is the thing that a lot of people who get crazy angry about the woke movement and stuff like that. This is where I feel like
Go
they get
too far.
misguided. Is that they start to focus only on like, oh, she's a
Yeah.
girl, must be woke. Oh, there's a black guy who's in the movie. It must be woke. It's like they're focusing on the wrong things,
Yeah.
because who cares if a black
Actually-
guy is in
well,
the
and we
movie?
haven't seen it yet, so we
I
don't
don't
know
think-
yet what the show's like. If they start
What-
preaching to you, that's the problem. See, that's the
What the-
problem. Is none of this is a problem yet. It's when they preach at you constantly. That's the problem. But
Yeah.
so far, it looks
or
fine.
make stupid little jokes about like they gotta like I'm
Like
just
white people?
If there's a Trump joke in the first episode, I might just turn it off because then that just spells out the entire show for me. It's gonna be referencing things that are gonna happen in the future, but they don't know about it yet, so they can make like little winky faces like. "Ooh,
By the way, the kid
ooh,
that I feel
might
like
happen."
Like,
this kid that looks autistic, Leah, he reminds me of Feeney. He looks like fucking Feeney, and like.
so
Oh
if
my
you
God.
talk to people that grew up in the 70s and watched that 70s show when it came out, because it's actually the same time distance, like it came out in the 90s 20 years later, and this is 20 years later from the 90s that this show is coming out, so it's like the same gap.
Yeah.
And if you talk to people that grew up in the 70s and watched that 70s show, you'll find that, like, I guess most of them say like, oh, it wasn't really like, completely accurate to the 70s. Like, some of the sayings that they used weren't really used in the 70s.
It's
and this
very.
and that.
It's like the 90s.
But all the people, I'm not done talking.
Oh, my bad. Relax.
Well, you've done it like 8 times.
I'm excited. I've had a lot of caffeine.
But anyway, but they all say the same thing though. They're like, yeah, but I liked the show. Like, it did still have like a nostalgia to it and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was saying too is like the 90s kind of bleed into the 70s. You know what I mean? And when you're doing the 90s and the 2020s, they're going to kind of bleed into the 90s. Like, you just can't help it. Remember we had this conversation, Leah, when I brought up, I think it was Lolita. Was it Lolita that I brought up? It was something like this where I said, or no, it was a movie that was older, and I was trying to figure out, were the 40s really like this? Or is the Hollywood version of the 40s like this? Do you know what I mean, Leah?
I don't think anything is ever like completely accurate when it comes to recreating a decade.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though, is like in the 40s movies, they couldn't really act like they really might in the real 40s because the movie could be like offensive or it could be something whatever the fuck.
Wildly racist.
Well,
yeah.
that'd be back in the 40s, they wouldn't care.
No, but they
You
did
know?
because they really did because like oh man, I wish I could remember the comparison right now and I can't. I think it's the book maybe. The way the book reads and then the way the movie is shot. The movie is shot almost as if it has a playful cartoony feel, whereas the book is like feels like it could be any time. So I'm like, is it really like we can actually relate to the 30s and 40s and 50s a lot more, really? But when you watch a movie, it's sort of like filtered in a way for the time. You know what I mean? It's actually kind of crazy to think about, and you only notice it now when you watch 90s. What the fuck? When you watch 90s and other movies back from the 90s and other things, you're like, yeah, oh, I know what it was. They remade Lolita, Leah. That's what it is. In the 90s, they remade Lolita. And in the 90s version, it's just a different feel. But even in the 90s version, you're like, this is weirdly like, man, this is so 90s. And then I thought, man, oh yeah, the black and white version of it is like nothing is ever fully like the 90s one almost represents it better because they were able to go where they wanted to go with it. But they couldn't go there in the black and white version because they had to be careful. You know what I'm saying?
I think the difference is in the way it was presented, because in the 40s, like if you watch a 40s movie, they'll use language that they used in the 40s, and they'll even speak on beliefs that a lot of people believed in the 40s, but they don't present it in ways that where it's like, wow, isn't it fucked up that they're doing this to these people or that. They presented like, and this is where we take the black children and throw them into the garbage cans and spray them down. And it's like, they would make like a lighthearted thing. They would be like say like a black family or somebody, like they something happened, right? And the person of the house would say something like, well, you better hurry on now. It's almost 7 p.m. You know what will happen. And like, you know what I mean? But like in real life, it's like, yeah, they'd be like beaten and thrown in jail and all these things. But they're not going to say that in the movie. In the movie, they make it seem like the white people are the heroes, for like saying that. Like, oh. I think that almost gives you more truth of that era, because it shows you what people back then believed in, because they were presenting something that they thought was true and thought was right, that nowadays everybody knows is wrong. So I feel like that gives you more truth than like, the pussified version of like the 1800s that people make, where it's like there's like 300 white guys that always stand up to like one evil, cartoonishly bad white guy with like the big mustache, and they come in and try to save all the black people because it's all about white heroes.
Well, I think that I think that they knew. I think one of the things is that they know it's bad and they know it's wrong, because the reason why they know it's bad and they know it's wrong, whether like slavery is what I mean, or dividing people or in slavery and classes of people, they know it's wrong because in the movies they dust it up. They make the white people seem kind of like the heroes, or that they're good ones or something. And I know it's Hollywood, so you're still dealing with that element, but they know it's not right because they're dressing it up. If they thought it was the right thing, they would just show it. Like, yes, show it all. And I know sometimes they use language that people nowadays, they hear language and go, oh my God. It's like, well, it's not that big a deal because people talked freely like that back then. But yeah, it's interesting. I know it's weird. But anyway, back to that 90s show. Go ahead, Leah. We got off the rails here with something.
So what? I finished my thoughts.
Oh, well, so what do you think? Do you think we have to watch an episode. I mean, really, it's Red and, what's her face? What's her name?
Kitty.
They just call her Kitty? She doesn't have another name?
What do you want her name to be? Catherine or something?
Yeah, maybe. It's Catherine. Isn't it Catherine?
Everybody calls her Kitty.
Okay, I know that, but I mean, I want to know what a real, whatever. Anyway,
her real name is Deborah Jo Rupp. That's
like in the show, what's her actual show name? The name of the show, Kitty, besides her nickname, Kitty.
He wants to know her full name and her social security number.
I want to know where she lives. I'm gonna go rape her. Tell me where she lives. Dude, did she even age? Like,
everybody was saying that. They were actually comparing what's his face, Brad, what's his name, and
to the murderer in RoboCop.
He looks exactly like him now.
Well, no, what I was gonna say
is the murderer in RoboCop.
he's the guy from RoboCop, but
He's
people were
so
saying like because
scary.
he's actually like nearing 80 or something like that, and they're like, it's like Patrick Stewart. They're like, I saw one comment like, I'm convinced that what you do is you just age like in your 30s to look like 40, and then you just stay that way for like a long time, because that's what they did. Like Patrick Stewart's looked old forever.
Yeah, they should have given Patrick Stewart a beard like he had in All Good Things, kind of, because otherwise he looks it's weird. But yeah, these two look interesting. I mean, and Red was in Star Trek too. He was in that. Wasn't he in a Voyager episode? Was it Voyager, Leah? Remember, he's like...
Yeah, he isn't... Yeah, it must be Voyager, because I hate Deep Space Nine. I don't even watch it.
He in Voyager, he, like, erases... He's, like, erasing history and people and destroying people throughout the universe to try to get back to his wife or something. It's a fucking weird episode.
I just like when he shoots... the guy's hand off in
RoboCop.
RoboCop,
dude. When
and the guy calls him, the guy calls him like slime and shit. These cheesy 80 liners like, "You're just a slime ball, pal."
I'll come back for you, slime ball. And then that guy was in Star Trek a bunch of times. RoboCop was. They put RoboCop in Star Trek twice as two different evil characters. Like they fucking. Like, I can't believe they did that. They put him in... He was the evil guy at the end of Enterprise who wanted to kill the baby and, like, all the aliens. And then he was in Star Trek 2 in the reboots with J.J. Abrams as the evil admiral.
To be fair, he makes a great bad guy.
He is a good bad guy now. But Peter Weller was a hero when he was RoboCop. Look, you're dead or alive, creep. I'll blow you up. He would say creep, but everyone else would say fuck, shit, cunt. But RoboCop wouldn't swear. He'd still call people creeps.
What I kind of like about that 90s show so far, from what I've seen of it, is that the sets aren't like, they didn't do their attempt to like, let's make it super 90s size where it's like everything has like posters of things that happened in the 90s. It feels very much like the same house, and that's kind of realistic because your childhood house doesn't change much.
Well, that was actually my problem with it. That was my problem with it, was like, well, because, it wouldn't change much, but how are you going to 90s it up if it's not, you know what I mean?
Well, it's also like, because the styles of the 90s and the 70s were a lot more similar than the 90s and the 80s, I feel like. At least as someone who wasn't born in that timeline, just looking from the outside looking in, I feel like the 70s and the 90s bleed into each other more than the 80s does with the 90s.
Well, I don't feel that way, but I get what you're saying, I think, a little bit. But go ahead, Leah.
Yeah, when like looking at the video, or the whatever, what was it? Teaser? It was a teaser. It reminded me of sort of too like a grandparent's house. Like I think at one point they're in like one of the bedrooms and it looks like it's like been done over like almost like a little area, and it's like, yeah, that's what grandparents do. They take the bedrooms and they turn them into other things and stuff like that.
Yep. No,
and there's like like little minor things that they clearly changed, like, which would make sense. It looks like 90s, but not overly 90s. The house I grew up in, I can't. It's funny because it looks like it actually looks like it looks nicer than the house I grew up in. Like, my house was very much looked 80s for a very long time.
Yeah, that's the thing about the 90s is, you know, you had 70s looking houses and 80s looking houses and more 60s because it all, you know, it's still there. People don't change things exactly, but my house looked updated. My house looked my house looked 80s because it was built in the 80s. You know what I mean? So it's, but I went over people's houses, like you said, that look like the 70s, look like the 60s, depending on how old the people that were there were. And, you know, Rojas, you have some points. Like, for instance, 70s, bell bottoms. In the late 90s, huge Jenko jeans came out, which were essentially bell bottoms on steroids.
Bell bottoms, or like flares, I guess you would call them, more or less, made a big comeback.
And in the 80s, all the neon shit.
I think of everybody wearing those Jeffrey Dahmer glasses. My dad wore those in the 90s. I just think of like every time I think of the 90s and the 70s, like I always think of like station wagons, people wearing plaid for some reason. Like they look like they're dressed up like lumberjacks.
That's the 90s from like that's 1992 to like 1997 or 6. Like for sure.
Yeah, or like the outfit that Roddy Piper wears in They Live. I don't know if that actually was in the 80s or the 90s.
That was actually 80, I think 88 or 89, but yeah.
And the grunge kids were wearing the plaid.
And then also music felt not
1988
like
is
completely similar, but
I'm excited about that. I'll be like, because like music was a big part of that 70s show. So I'm interested to see like where they go, like what the kids are into and like what they bring up and stuff like that for the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's gonna be things like grunge or like rock or, you know, like what, it could be anything really. There's like so many that it could be. And even in that 70s show, you had the kids like listening to like Zeppelin and stuff, but then Jackie would be listening to friggin'
ABBA.
ABBA. That's what I was trying to think of. I was drawing a blank. Yeah, so you'd have like Jackie listening to ABBA, and then you'd have the other kids listening to like Zeppelin and whatever. So who knows?
Well, isn't it like? Don't you feel this, Leah, where it's like, oh, that's gonna be cool, but it's gonna be cool for like 1 minute, and then it's just like, okay, I got all the satisfaction I needed out of that. Where it's like they're talking about different stuff from the 90s, and it's like, oh man, they're bringing up Star Wars, and stuff like that. Okay, well, now I got all the satisfaction that I need out of that.
Luke, here's the problem. The show needs to be better than just about the 90s, or it's not going to be good. That's the issue.
He asked me, not you. But okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
I'll just die. I don't know.
Oh, I'm trying.
Go ahead. I'm waiting for you to go. I just want to throw that in there. That hey, it's a story.
I'm hopeful for it because not only did they get back like basically everybody with the exception of Hyde for obvious reasons. It's not just that, it's something like the writers, like the original writers or the producers or something like that, they're also back. So
yeah,
you've got the people that worked on the first series, so like that's cool. And so I don't know, I'm hopeful, but
I think we should bring Hyde back. Just bring him back. What?
Honestly, that's such a big disappointment for me because as one of the people, like I really did love that 70s show so much, and I thought if they were ever going to bring it back, they needed to fix the whole thing where Jackie and Hyde don't get together at the end for some stupid reason, and they get Fez and Jackie. It's fucking so stupid. And that's one of the only disappointing things about it is that we're not going to be able to get that resolution, but I mean there's nothing much you can do about it. So
that was part of having like the different writers and stuff like that, which is like those seasons, like why they're so crappy, and that's why I guess like the good ones are back or whatever. So like that's like the other reason that I'm hopeful. But you know what's interesting about that is Mila Kunis did an interview and brought up the fact that she was like, yeah, it's weird because technically how it ended, my character should be with Fez, but she's actually married to Kelso, who she's married to in real life.
And then even in that kind of annoys me because it's like the character Kelso and Jackie had her character changed so much because of her breaking up with Kelso and moving on that I feel just bringing them back together just because it's like, well, they were together in the old series and now they're together in real life, so they have to be together in the show. I feel like it's sort of backtracking on her character a lot.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's probably at this point, too, you're playing a bit of damage control from what they did at the end of those 2 seasons. You know, it's that's like true. They got super screwed up, so it's like you kind of can't just ignore it. And we can't bring back Hyde. At least Hyde's an easy write-off. He's in jail. That's totally believable. You know, like...
What if they go a step beyond it? It's just like, yeah, he's in jail for raping women. Like, they're just
and they, wait a minute. So they're gonna go with the Full House thing where they're gonna be like, "Where's Hyde? I don't know. He's in jail for raping women." And then they all look at the camera, like they did in Fuller House when they said, "Where's Michelle? I don't know." And they all looked at the camera.
That is definitely going to happen.
Oh my God! No, they're not going to.
It's going to be some strange look that they give at the camera.
They won't even bring it up at all. They should say like, "Where's Hyde?" Well, you know he's dead. Like,
but honestly,
dead was it for him too.
If they bring up Hyde at all, I think it's going to be just so they address it, so people aren't like, "Oh, they're just completely ignoring it," whatever. And it's going to be some quick thing. About like it'll be like in conversation, it's like oh well, you know, like Hyde's still got like 10 years left or whatever. Yeah. And that's all that it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And like that's gonna be it. They're not gonna say anything else.
Are they gonna get Tommy Chong? Or... I tried to break him out, man. I tried to break him out, and they put me in jail. Like, and he's in jail.
No, he's gonna be there.
Show up though.
He's in jail with Jordan Belfort.
Shows up.
He's in jail with Jordan Belfort. Oh, that's not till 2000. But that'd be funny if he was in jail with Jordan Belfort.
Maybe he's in jail with when did Jeffrey Dahmer go to jail? Maybe they can fit that into the show.
1987? When did Jeffrey... Is it 1987? Someone in the chat figure that out.
Oh, it's too late. Too early.
That's actually when Leah was born, so I guessed her birth date.
I'm sure she likes to be reminded that her birthday is the year that serial.
I don't know that. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. Doesn't look at Riker's uniform, Leah. You like that?
Not watching that piece of crap show. So you keep bringing it up. I'm not watching it.
When it's good, you're gonna feel dumb for not watching
No,
it.
because watching that legitimizes those first
No, it
two
doesn't.
horrible, awful
It
seasons.
doesn't. It does not
Yes,
do
it
that
does.
because
It absolutely does.
everyone is saying they shouldn't even call this season 3 of Picard. They should call it like the new movie or something. Like it's
But who's everyone? Who's
Really?
everyone? The paid reviewers?
no.
Please.
I'm telling you, the reviewers that are saying this hated the first 2 seasons.
I think I'm gonna go.
No, why are you gonna go?
I can't get rid of it.
Discord's hard to hear sometimes. Go ahead. You're next, you dildo.
If the first 2 seasons are as if they didn't happen, whatever, explain how Raffi's there.
Well, because she's still a character, but we don't have to pay.
Explain 7 of 9.
They're paid. They're contracted 3 seasons.
Well, but the it's like the first 2 seasons didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
Except that they're there. 7 of 9 is
Yeah, but
some
except
weird
what they
version
did.
of 7 of 9.
But what they did didn't
Raffi
happen.
is there,
It
the
didn't happen.
worst character probably in Star Trek history. I
think they're
hate
gonna kill
that
her.
character.
I think they're gonna kill her. I think she's gonna die.
They're not. They made her a lesbian. They're not.
Nope, she's gonna be a dead lesbian at the end of it. I'm telling you, the end of season 3 she'll be a dead lesbian. I'm telling you.
I'm not really. I never really watched Picard, but I've just seen enough clips of it to know how terrible it is.
Oh, so bad.
But like I don't get this like, oh, but the 3rd season's gonna be great, so I'm gonna see it. It's like, well, when you have 2 attempts that are both terrible,
I'll tell you why.
Why?
You want me to tell you
why
why?
are you giving it a 3rd attempt?
I agree with
because
you.
some
Not only
people-
that,
I agree with you, but I'll
but
tell you why. I can tell you
The
exactly
second
why.
one is worse than the first.
Yes, it is. It is worse. I'll tell you why. Because the first season was done by a piece of shit guy, and then Akiva Goldsman is the one who picked that guy, and then in the second season, Akiva Goldsman took over. But in the 3rd season, the guy in charge basically gave it to a guy who used to write on actual Star Trek, and who's a huge fan of actual Star Trek. So he actually wrote on the on Star Trek when it was good, like Voyager, Deep Space Nine, TNG. That guy is in charge of Star Trek season 3, and that guy went to Patrick Stewart and said, I know that you didn't want any of the cast back and you didn't want to do that, but basically, seasons 1 and 2 didn't work out so well. But for season 3, I want to bring the whole cast back and I want to do this story and here's what I want to do and I'm a big fan and I know what I'm doing and the fans really want something like this. And he got Patrick Stewart to agree to it. Everything that Patrick Stewart said, I don't want to do or I want to do something different, this guy said, please, let's do this. And now they decided to do it. And people who actually matter, who review Star Trek, who say seasons 1 and 2 of Picard suck. They're awful. They're terrible. They're disgusting. Season 2 of Picard is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it's Star Trek. And it's not Star Trek. It's awful. There's maybe 10 minutes in the entire season that is that's nice, but the rest of it is death. It's just murder on your eyes and your ears and your soul. It's terrible.
It looks so dull. And
it's
boring.
dark and it's dark, dull, and it's just not Star Trek. It's just not Star Trek. So I'm telling you,
but
these people
have been
that said
saying it's
that.
good.
But yes, so people that have been ranting on how bad Star Trek season Picard 1 and 2 are, watch season 3. And some of them have seen it. Some of them have seen 1 episode. Some of them have only read about it. But the people that were shown it, they were I don't want to see it. One of the guys said, don't show it to me because I saw seasons 1 and 2. And the guy begged him, I promise you're going to think it's different. Please see it. And these people watched it. And now listen, there's no way all these people are paid because they're not people that are paid people. They're people that give their real opinions that shit on seasons 1 and 2. They would never.
I'm just saying, don't let your optimism. I wouldn't be so optimistic.
I'm not because you
seem, dude. You have been so optimistic. You keep saying you're not, and every time season 3 of Picard is mentioned, you're like, it's gonna be. I'm not saying it, but Dave from Subway said that it was really great, and then And then Johnny from Taco Bell also said it was good. It's like, who gives a shit? I remember back when season 1 or 2 of Picard was coming out, they were saying, "Oh my God, it's so much better than Discovery. Oh my God, it's so much better than season 1."
No.
And then guess what? It wasn't better. So, and like, this isn't just the case with Star Trek. It's the case with a lot of shows where people hype it up like it's going to be amazing and say it's, oh yeah, incredible reviews. And then you get Batwoman season 1 and 2.
Red Letter
and
Media
3.
is, but I will say that they gave Red Letter Media hilarious content, because watching Red Letter Media, like them just die reviewing Picard, like dying inside reviewing Picard is hilarious. Like, it is so
and their
funny.
Thumbnails get crazier and crazier as like they like have lasers coming out of their eyes. They're wearing like bloody wigs.
Yeah, like, dude, they look like it's like, I'm trying to think, it's like when I watch a Raw and I'm not even angry, and it's just kind of like I want to die. Like, that's what like this is Picard season 1.
That's their first reaction.
That's their first reaction to the first season. But then I'm gonna scroll down, and here's the reaction to season 2, the last 3 episodes. Look, it's like a bloodbath, and their fucking lasers and heads are exploding, and they're fucking, look at this, like, they're dressed like clowns, and Picard's coming out of the fucking thing. Like, I mean, dude. Oh my God. Star Trek used to be about ethics and logic and submarine warfare and amazing stories and people getting along, and it's just, now it's about death.
And you know what?
Oh, that's the other reason I'm not watching season 3.
Look at this. Why?
Why? Because they're not going to review it?
No, because they're going to kill off main cast characters.
You don't know that.
I know it.
I told you that I think they might kill Deanna, because Deanna...
They basically all have kids. Yeah, Deanna's a goner. So she's got the daughter now. Her and Riker have the daughter. We've got LaForge's daughter. We've got who's the... Oh, well, I mean, technically Beverly has always had a son, but I don't like,
I don't think they're going to let Will Wheaton on the show, because he's going to kill somebody if they're a Republican. Any Republicans on set, Will Wheaton will stab them.
Worf has Alexander.
Right.
It's like they're just they're gonna kill them off, and then they're gonna set up for this whole new, like, this stupid. They're dead,
because Terry Metalis knows that the fans would murder themselves if he did.
No, they're gonna do it, and like
Shaban might have done it.
That's what movies and shows do now. Everybody, they kill people off because it's like, oh, it's dramatic, and that's what we do, and it makes it so good because it's dramatic and there's death.
The only reason Deanna could die is because...
7 of 9? Goner.
Well, that wouldn't bother me, because she's not really 7 of 9 much anymore, so just blow her up anyway. No, I think they're going to give her a show.
She died in season 1, like, when they brought her, like, that was just...
No, I don't think she's going to die, because I think they want to...
not 7 of 9.
They want to give her a show, so they don't want to kill her.
Yeah, it's going to be with Raffi.
Yeah, it's going to be called Star Trek 7. Yeah, the lesbians in space. That's what her and Raffi are going to... They're going to do what Riker and Deanna always wanted to do. They're going to take over the Titan, and they're going to rule the Titan together. I'm telling you, that's probably going to happen. Unless Raffi dies. I think Raffi might die.
No.
And 7's like crying on the bridge. She doesn't even care. Like, they ripped out Icheb's eye and murdered him because he was a Republican. Like, she's next. Dude, they fucking pulled his...
That's why they murdered him.
This is why they murdered him.
No, I know.
I asked you a while ago, and I don't think you ever explained to me the Borg thing at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
She was waiting all of that time for him.
I don't know.
Why didn't she do anything when he was Locutus? Or like any of the other times that they ran into?
Because she had to be there at that time. If she did anything else, then it would have led to who knows what, and they wouldn't have been there.
Leah, because plot.
Listen,
there is no plot.
Can I tell you something? Of all the things that go on in this show, that is the thing that makes more sense than almost so many million other things. Like,
that bothers me, because she's like, oh, I've been waiting. And it's like all of this time.
Let me ask you this. Why is 10 Forward the bar where Guinan is a bartender on Earth, where she's never met Picard before? Why is it called 10 Forward? Because 10 Forward is called 10 Forward because it's on deck 10 forward of
I know,
the ship.
and it's not where it is on the ship.
It makes no sense. Like, right? So unless Q did,
I think it was like on other ships. My theory behind that, besides the fact that show is just garbage.
No one knows what we're talking about, by the way. Right
my only theory for that is that is something that was like, it was like the 10 forward, because that's where it was, like wherever they first started making it, or maybe on like a bunch of the ships, that's where it was. And then as the newer ships came out, they moved where that area is, but the name stuck anyway, because that's just what people refer to it as.
Right. Yeah.
Sort of like pub. It's like the public house. It's a pub.
Yeah, it didn't
but
mean
you go
much.
to like, it's
they're,
like, you
they're
know,
trying
like
to make it mean more than it ever did. It's so stupid.
But like nicknames for stuff like that stick. You know?
Right. Q set that up, Rose says. I mean, maybe that could be what it is. That Guinan is not Guinan, though, I'll tell you that.
I want to touch on what Leah was talking about earlier when she was saying that she was talking about how 7 of 9 is still in the show and Raffi is still in the show, and you're like, yeah, so what? They were in the previous seasons. What Leah was saying with that, I think, is that their characters are so terrible, and so like all the motivations behind them from the previous seasons are so terrible that it's hard to just forget everything that we knew about them beforehand and be like, no, it's different because everything's different now.
No, I agree.
I'm really like bent
I would
out
not
of
have
shape.
them there if I was me.
I'm really like bent out of shape about the 7 of 9 stuff, because first of all,
she's a murderous
literally
weirdo?
nobody has ever mentioned Chakotay. I guess we're just whatever. We're just gonna pretend that was nothing, even though it was like a huge thing in like the final episode. But anyway, whatever. So that's just nothing.
Well, also
and then
she wasn't an officer. Now she's a captain. What?
What does that matter?
Well, in season 2, she told everybody how, or season 1, she was like, I don't have a commission, and you know what I mean. Like in season 1, she has no commission.
Even that, in all this time, I could see that becoming a reality. I could see that. It's been a long time.
Yeah, but she, like, in season 1, she not in Starfleet because they wouldn't let her be in Starfleet. But then, like 6 months later in Picard season 2, she's now on the bridge of her own ship.
It's not 6 months after that.
She's all of a sudden a vigilante in space who kills people and is like the Punisher. Very fitting of her character.
It goes. She's on Voyager. Then when they get back, apparently they don't let her be in Starfleet anymore. And then she's the Punisher in space in season 1. And then 6 months after season 1, she's now the captain on a bridge. What? She used to go through years of Starfleet.
There's just so many things wrong. Her personality doesn't fit. Nothing. She's like a normal person, whereas 7 of 9 was never completely normal. She was like traumatized, essentially.
Well, okay, I get. She's going to become more human as she ages, so I get that.
As she ages, she's already an adult. She's been a Borg since she was a child.
Yeah, but she's been a Borg into adulthood, so she's going to change as a real person as she grows older, so I understand that part.
She didn't whole time. No, she didn't the whole time that she was on Voyager, which was a while.
She changed.
And she still stayed the same?
No, she changed a little bit.
She doesn't have to charge up anymore.
When she
started the chargy thing?
When she started on Voyager, though, she was way more like robotic and Borg, and then she became more human-like. So that's not. She did.
Yeah, but by the time in Picard's,
thanks to Chakotay.
He's a Republican, so he's dead.
But what Leah's saying is, what Leah's saying, by the time season 1 happens at Picard, she's like talking like a regular person, like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm going to the bar to go get some lesbian pussy." What a robot person would say. Like, oh wait, no, she wouldn't. Yeah. She would talk completely differently.
Well, I think. Can I just bring it up? Icheb, Republican, they ripped his eyeballs out, connected to 7 of 9. Chakotay, Republican, should be with her. But no, he's
so you're telling me nobody else on that show is a Republican?
Yes.
Not one person.
Do you want me to prove it?
Prove it.
All right, let's go. Here we go. This is going to be great. Now, several Star Trek shows that I watch on YouTube make fun of this all the time. One of them is a great show. These two guys are great. They're nerds. They're dorks. They're even, I think, a little bit left-leaning. But they're like, if you love Star Trek, don't ever read your Star Trek heroes' tweets because your head will explode. These people don't live on planet Earth. Jerry Ryan is, I mean, they just don't live on planet Earth. Okay, so let's look up Jerry Ryan. She's on Twitter. Let's find out right now.
Even Red Letter Media pointed stuff out that was like against, and they're like really liberal leaning too.
Yes, they're very liberal, and so am I pretty much too. But it's like because they know, most people know these liberals are insane. They're out of their fucking mind. They want to see Republican or independent. They want to see Democrat people burned and killed over their opinions. They're crazy. I'm telling you, man. Like Maria Sirtis.
Before we start going into the guy who carries his gun and the fucking trailer in Nevada talking about liberals.
Well, okay. Look at. Okay, so Jerry Ryan retweeted, Republicans want to hold the entire global economy hostage, blah, 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 blah. So Jerry Ryan, full of political posts.
Not wrong.
So she's got full of political posts on here. Pro-Democrat, I hate the Republicans. So Jerry Ryan's Democrat, but Chakotay, Republican, and Ichib, Republican. In real life, the people. So they're dead.
Do you think
they're gone.
The guy that plays Ichib went on to go get killed because he's like, yes, I'm a Republican.
Yes, because no, because he said his tweets about his political beliefs on Twitter pissed off Star Trek people, and he ended up defending himself, and they got in a fight with him, and then they kicked him off of being invited to the KANE thing or whatever was going on. Then the same thing as what's her name from Harry Potter. The woman who literally created Harry Potter, they banned her off of everything. Well, they banned this guy. And so then, and he was talking about trying to come back on the show and stuff like that. And they were like, well, you'll never be in Star Trek. And the next thing you know, a year later, after he got, they shit on him, they pulled his eyeball out on the show and ripped his eye in the most horrific scene in Star Trek history of pulling an eyeball out of a guy's head. And the guy wasn't him. It was a different actor playing him.
Oh, you know what all of this equals up to?
Pettiness.
More reasons not to watch season 3, and I recommend nobody does it. Don't give them views.
Well,
don't give them it.
Listen,
they don't deserve it. You know what? If they wanted to make a quality show, then maybe they should have cared more, like in the first season, and not in the third, as a desperation to keep fans. Because I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna kill off a bunch of the main cast and set up to do some spin-off-y thing with a bunch of the kids. You'll see.
I understand a certain amount of like progressiveness in Star Trek, because Star Trek is always about like throwing that in there. It's like supposed to be. So
it's honestly insulting to even call any of this Star Trek.
I know, but it's like, but that's how fucked up these people are. They're not worried about putting on a good show. They're worried about like getting one on the Republican guy on Twitter. It's like weird. That's a weird level.
Well, you also have to remember that Republican guy, the comment that he said was literally like he was trying to like minimize someone who came out about being like molested or something, and he's like, oh, it sucks when you got these people coming out with these allegations, fake allegations. It's just like, it was like so inappropriate for him to even say it at that point. It wasn't because he was Republican necessarily. And yeah, I agree with Leah where it's like, what, there's not one of those elderly people who worked on who's working in the TNG fucking reunion episode or whatever that they're going to do for Picard. There's not one of them that's not fucking a Republican. Like, I just find that hard to believe.
I'm telling you, man.
Maybe they're just not as out and open about it.
Jonathan Frakes, Democrat. Marina Sirtis, Democrat. LeVar Burton, Democrat. Brent Spiner may not. I don't know. He's actually like the most normal.
All you need is one to make my point.
That's true, but he does side with he has my beliefs is all I know. Brent Spiner has my beliefs, but the other ones are so far that I'm like, no, they don't sync up.
It isn't even particularly Democratic or they're Republican or whatever. I'm just thinking of any type of right-leaning sort of opinion at all that they have, because a lot of the times it happens with Republicans too, where Democrats will just lump Republicans in all the same.
They always do it to each other.
Same thing happens with the Democrats, where they all just get lumped in together. And it's like, oh yeah, they're all fucking crazy, and it's like, no,
you're either a Trump, you're a scumbag race, or you're a libtard. Like, it's all just people.
The other thing too is people can change their political affiliation based on the fact that they don't like the person that's running basically head of the party. Yeah. People can change their opinion and be like, you know what, I'm going to go the other way because this guy I really don't like. Like, you can change based on their
Trump did it.
policies and stuff like that. Like, who knows how many people have gone back and forth since the whole Trump thing, started. How many people have gone back and forth, either switching from Democrat to Republican or from Republican to Democrat? It happens.
Yeah, Trump himself did it. He was Democrat. Wasn't he a Democrat for a while?
He was,
and then
yeah.
to become a president,
He was,
ran for the Republican nominee.
He was a kind of like a mix. I would say he was like almost libertarian because he had this conservative business views, right? But socially, Trump is a Democrat because he believed in like LGBTQ rights and things like gay marriage originally and things like that. Then he changed gay marriage, right? Because he knows he can't say that to the religious right. Donald Trump don't care about religion. He cares about it because he needs to win on it. But really, he knows and doesn't care. And would, if there was no politics in getting elected, Donald Trump would just say, "Of course, everyone should be, should get married," and be. That's what he believes.
Yeah, like
so
everybody associated him to like these like, oh yeah, him and his Klan rallies and all this, and like I just never got that vibe off of him. I got more of the shady politician, businessman who's willing to like lie through his teeth type of thing, instead of the guy who like runs, a fucking militia with his, machine gun going, "Oh boys, we're gonna go fuck the people and we're gonna go, raiding around," saying some racist shit. Like,
well, that's
I don't know.
problem.
People have this misconception of him.
Well, it's not. It's a fake narrative, and the problem is if they focused on the things that he really does wrong, that's how you can actually. You know what I mean? That's how you can actually beat somebody if you focus on the real things he might do wrong or you don't like about him. But what they do is they focus on fabricated nonsense that isn't
people do
true.
Focus on the things that are wrong.
And then the people that like him don't see any of the flaws, or they say they do, but they don't actually. It's like everyone's got blinders on to everything. It's very strange. Even I do sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, and you got to like drag yourself out of it a little bit because you're so focused on either defending or attacking somebody that you got to, come out of your team, whatever team you're falling on to too much. It's a fucking weird time. But a lot of people after Trump were like, oops. And then a lot of people after Biden are now like, oops.
All right, I'm going to get out of here, I think.
Well, we're pretty much done anyway. I mean, we got into Star Trek
politics.
for Christ's sake.
I'd rather put needles in my eyes.
Well, there is no...
before we go, Leah, are you excited for that 90s show, and do you think it will be good?
I am excited for it, but I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. It's really hard to get a revival type series like off the ground and get people into it because people have way too much nostalgia for stuff, and nothing is ever going to feel like the original. And so a lot of people might tune in and start watching it. It doesn't feel like the original, even though it could be good in its own right, but it doesn't feel like the original, and people's nostalgia takes over, and they don't want to watch it because it's not the original. When in reality, it's like you just need to go watch the original. That's it.
I hope they go to Woodstock 94.
Do you see it going more than one season?
I think it could, yeah.
Yeah, because it's it's on a streaming network, so they're gonna get at least 2 or 3 seasons because it's on streaming.
I'm hopeful that it's good because I really do. I love that 70s show. I watched it all the time, and I'm excited for it. And I'm excited. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, you remember when they took it off of every streaming platform for the past 2 years, and now they finally put it back.
It was off Netflix for a while.
It was off of everything. You literally couldn't watch it anywhere. Everything, it was gone because of stupid freaking Danny Masterson.
No, because people want to censor stuff because they're idiots.
No, it's because of Danny Masterson.
No, but yeah, but it's who.
Yeah, what are you gonna do to censor that? How are you gonna censor him out of the show?
It's a fake virtue signal. We're gonna take the show down. What? Because somebody in real life is a scumbag? Why? Why would you take away history and art from everybody because you're fucking?
And I also just it's easy for me to separate characters from the actors because it's just he's not. It's sure, the actor's a piece of shit, but. In all honesty, this was from decades ago. And
I got news for you. Most of them are most actors
that he's playing.
Most actors are pieces of shit. Almost all of them. Most of them are.
Okay,
scumbags.
yeah, but we can't just can't just insinuate that most actors rape people. So
No,
because,
but
I
they're
mean, yeah,
all-
you could be
I'm
like,
telling
well,
you.
actually, if you read Geekdom said, like, I don't give a fuck what
I
some
raped the Navy
podcaster
SEAL
said.
once. I raped the Navy SEAL once. No one knows about that.
Well, I'm excited. Well, because it's like they don't censor out Chris Benoit from professional wrestling shows. You know, like they just don't put his name in the title. So
Well,
I don't
that's
understand
weird,
why
too. That's
that
the-
70s show had to be
I'ma leave
removed.
this
Had to
briefcase
be
right
removed from all
I'ma leave
platforms.
this
Whoa.
briefcase right here.
Oh, there's a donation from Allison Tuckwab,
I'ma leave this
the ghost from the coast with the
briefcase
Hundy earlier.
I'ma leave this briefcase right here.
Look at that girl.
Son,
Leah, you ever notice in this donation, she's holding a cigarette.
Run, you fat bitch. Run, you fat bitch. Run.
You ever get this big, Leah? I'm divorcing you.
Run, you fucking
So mean.
I'm just kidding. I'm bigger than that girl.
Yeah, you'll be that big before I ever get that big.
Hey, I weigh 199 now, baby. Yeah. And she runs in those sandals.
Run, you fat bitch.
Allison Tuckwab.
Good night, guys. Aaron Rodgers is playing the Bears when it's time for them to play again. I don't think that's a good idea because he's all banged up. Seems like you don't care, like the bad habits from Brett Favre. Yellow heart, green heart, yellow heart, green heart.
Hey, listen, I hope you beat the shit out of the Bears, Allison. You know why? Because the Bears beat the Patriots in 1986. And my father didn't get to see them win a Super Bowl because of the Bears. So screw you, Bears. I hope the Packers fudge pack you. All right? And I know what you're saying. Green Bay beat the Patriots in 96. Yeah, well, my dad...
We don't like them either.
Yeah, we don't like them either. Fucking cheesehead fucks. No, but, yeah, go beat the Bears.
Was it 96
right, I'm
or
outta here.
97?
Good night, Lee. I can't even believe you're up
All right,
still.
bye.
Yeah, no, I know. This is awful. That's why I'm sitting here looking at the clock like, oh my
Go to
God, I
bed.
gotta go to bed.
Go to bed. I love you. Love you.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Yep, bye.
Yeah, well,
Leah's great, bro.
She gets up.
Dude, she's amazing on the show.
No, she really is. Yeah, she gets up with the kids really like at 6:30 a.m. So she's like, I gotta get to fucking bed. It's 1 a.m.
It's like sometimes when I talk to her, I realize, oh my God, she has to deal, like, she's like the most straight and narrow person I know on
Yeah.
the show, and she has to deal with you.
Yeah,
every day.
No, it's like
So-
there's no more bigger opposites. Like she is so, dude. She is about like wanting to mostly be alone, like a cat almost. Like she's like, I'll be alone. She's really smart. She's calm, and yeah, in like erratic people, salespeople, crazy type of people, noisy people, she does not want to be around that. So it is very
Yeah,
strange.
and you know what? She kind of reminds me of Daria with her
Yeah.
personality.
Lesbian.
Like, very, no, not lesbian, Joe. Everything's lesbian
I know,
or,
tonight
or
there's-
gay or dick.
Well, I like the rainbow, you know.
Well, you know what? Since 90s show is coming out, I think it's time that we mention the 80s show. That 80s show that came out briefly for,
Wait, it did?
I think, 10 episodes. Yeah.
What?
That's not a fake thing.
I
That's
didn't
not a
know
fake
that.
thing. That 80s show. That 80s show came out, I think, right after that 70s show ended.
What?
Or
That would've
maybe
been-
like right before it ended.
That should have been better. 'Cause see,
And-
the 80s and the 70s to me are very different.
Well, that 80s show was terrible.
Oh.
It was just a lot of like, oh, look at my big phone. It's a cell phone. It's a phone, but I could take it anywhere.
See that's the point that's
then
that's the point I was trying to make to you guys earlier was like if the show is just about references, then it's never going to be good. That's why that 70s show is good, because it actually, the characters is what mattered and the stories, and then sprinkled in was, oh yeah, this was going on at this era. But if it's just the 90s and then things happen, like that show's gonna die.
That's kind of why I brought that up when Leah was talking about how she's looking forward to them bringing up different music genres of the time. and what they're listening to. What was interesting about it in that 70s show is that you liked the characters and you almost felt like they were your friends in a way. So when they were talking about,
Yeah.
you know, things from the 70s, it really felt like, man, I really want to hear their opinion on, you know, Zeppelin or whatever. But when it's just these characters that we just met, and they're all talking about like, yo, I'm listening to Kurt Cobain for, you know, just bringing up Nirvana and stuff like that. I feel like people are more interested in what characters from that 70s show think about things from the 90s than characters who were just introduced from that 90s show think about things from the 90s. You know what I mean?
When this is over and they do that 2000s show, can we use this picture of Leah playing beer pong in 2007 as
is it the one where you like creepily took a photo of her fucking ass?
No, she was like bending over to like throw a pong ball, and I sort of took a picture from the side.
Oh, so it was that.
No, I took a picture from the side as she was playing beer pong. But I'm just saying, like, this is the year 2007, so it's like that 2000s show is coming. You know, it's not that far away. In the year 2035 or something, that 2000s show could come out. And I mean, Leah, you know, this is what we're going to be playing, beer pong, you know, with DVD rack behind us. Like, I mean, like, look at that.
You know what I said? You know what I said they should do earlier in the chat? I said they should do 2007-2008 Patriots season show. that 2007-2008 Patriots season show, and you get to see like the start of the show is like the hopeful Boston fan, like, yeah, we're gonna win the fucking Super Bowl, Brady, and then just them killing themselves when they lose, and then the sequel series, 2011-2012 Patriots season, when we lose the rematch, and
it's just only Patriots losses. You're not going to see any of the 6 Super Bowl wins. It's just all losses. The 86 Bears loss, the 96 Green Bay loss, and then the Giants losses and the Philly loss, all just those, is what you're saying? And, like, we never won the Super Bowl 6 times for the most in ever history with Steelers. Ross, are you still there? You froze up, bro. I think you died, brother. Well, listen, I'm going to end the show anyway because I went way longer. I'm going to end the show anyway. Oh, hey, Rojas is back for a second. All right, go ahead, bro.
Well, I was asking you, what do you think is the worst? What do you think was worse, when we lost the undefeated season or when we lost a rematch against them? Because honestly, that Eagles game doesn't bother me at all because we had already had 5 at that point.
Yeah, and we beat the Eagles once, so it was kind of like, all right, because the Eagles fans like, I'm like, yeah, well, we beat you once, so you beat us once, okay. But no, I think I was worried about the second loss to the Giants because I was like, well, now they're going to be like Eli owns Brady, and it's going to it'd be awful if you lost the second time. But no, the first is the worst because that was the perfect season. So there's nothing worse than that having happened.
That loss doesn't bother me as much, only because I didn't really see it when it happened. You know, I was kind of really, really little.
Oh my God, Dr. Earl and young Republican, what are you doing together? What is this? I thought he was going to shoot him with an AR not that long ago. Wow. Oh, they disappeared. I don't know what happened. They just beamed in. I did not do that. They just left. They were on.
Well, you know what? Well, before they come back, I just want to say this was a good show tonight. I'm glad we got to talk about all things, you know, 90s show, fucking racism, Picard season 3, and why Joe thinks it's great. Even though
I don't think it's great. I'm just being, dude, this is my last hope. If this isn't good, bro, like, all I want to see is the TNG cast back together in a way that is kind of like the movies. I'll take the movies because even the movies aren't that great. Like, it's not like the show. The show is so good, and the movies are like a 7 out of 10, the TNG movies. I will take a 7 out of 10 episode, whatever they do. But if it's not good again, man, oh my God, I don't know what I'll do.
Well, Joe, just honestly, just think about this. Has any of the seasons of Discovery been good at all.
No, but the problem is the writers on that show are all woke, weird 20-year-olds.
It's the same shit.
No,
Just 'cause
no.
Terry,
No,
they say they hire someone.
No, I know who they
say
hired. I've talked to him. He's Terry Metalis. Go look this up.
But I'm saying they say this all the time, where it's like they hire someone and they're going to use his talents and they're going to use his vision, and then what happens is that guy throws out a bunch of ideas, they don't agree with them, and then that guy ends up writing the script want him to write.
They said out like to everywhere that we just gave
because they said it. You believe them?
No, yes, because the first season they had Shaban writing it with Kiva Goldsman and the other guy and all the woke writers. The second season was Shaban and a couple other woke writers. And this time they said, all right, none of us are really doing it. We just gave it to Terry. Terry took over the entire thing. So it's only Terry Metalis.
Producer still. Who's the executive producer still?
It's still the Kurtzman. It's still run by
Kurtzman,
it's still
exactly.
But Kurtzman gave it to Terry Metalis. Like, go ahead, man. It's all you.
Everything that he's released that's been Star Trek related, Alex Kurtzman has been pretty terrible.
Well, Strange New Worlds has been somewhat okay. I would give Strange New Worlds the Family Guy show? Yeah.
No. Great.
What?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Star Trek Family Guy, which is such a like, ooh we're gonna make a Star Trek joke.
No. That's you're thinking of the cartoon.
Joke.
Are you thinking of the cartoon? You're thinking of the cartoon.
Isn't that what it is?
No. Strange New Worlds is a live action.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Lower Decks.
What's up?
We just came from the Judas Priest show in Houston, Texas.
You just came from the Jew show?
Judas Priest.
I'm just kidding. What are you doing?
Judas Priest.
Wow, Dr. Earl and Young Republican. At one time they hated each other. Now they're going to see shows together. This is amazing.
I threatened me with a fucking AR-15.
I love you. What's up, Dr. Earl? How you been, brother?
Do you like Joe? Did you ever hear Judas Priest for real? You ever heard of him?
Have I ever heard of them? Yeah, I got fucking Judas Priest fucking albums.
Me and Earl got a couple picks. I bought each other we got a shirt. We got a bootleg shirt.
Wow.
Souvenirs, you know what I'm saying? Yep.
Well, oh man, how many songs did they play?
Some fucking jackass, some jackass liberal, fat New Yorker, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Cut in front of us and.
In Houston. In Houston. Good Lord! Did they play?
New Yorker fan?
Did they play anything?
Then some hippie fuck Boston weirdo cut in front of us, and I fucking told him, "Hey, Joe Cronin's the motherfucking man." You feel me? Houston, Texas.
Did they play anything from British Steel?
British Steel, Judas Priest. And now me and Brown are gonna go to get a Motel 6, and we're gonna fuck. So
you guys better bang each other. I'm talking about like full on.
Rob Halford's gonna bring his leather and chains, and we're going at it.
Hey, Dr. Earl, for old time's sake, scream that Tommy's a F word in the camera.
I'm not doing that. Me and Tommy have been cool for the past couple of years.
No, but you just for old time. I know you don't think that about him. You know what I mean? But it's good. Well, how about this? Well, who do you hate right now? Who can you think of someone?
I don't hate anybody, but there's someone that we used to that YR and I often worked with that needs a boot in the ass. I'll explain it to you later, dude.
Okay, explain it to me later. I'd love to hear about it. I love you guys. Stay safe. I love that you guys are together having fun. That's hilarious. And I miss you guys. It's good to see you, man. You look good.
Thank you for letting us in, brother.
I love you, boys. I love you, boys. Me and you. Imagine if I was down there, bro. Dude, if I was down there and we all were drinking, like, what would we do? Like, get arrested?
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, imagine if we triple teamed Rob Halford and his ass. You know what I mean? Come on! Like fucking, just driving it in Rob Halford, fucking turbo 1986.
Joe knows the deal. Yeah.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
All right, bros. All right, good night.
Thank you, my brother. God
Love
bless you.
Kisses.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck the fat New Yorkers. Okay. Very much thank you, Young Republican and Dr. Earl coming in out of nowhere. And listen, thank you very much to Luke Rojas for holding it down tonight. Big stuff. A lot of people don't understand this. Luke Rojas is like fucking. This guy's a teen. He's still. Was he 19? Luke Rojas. You know what I mean? The guy is like so good at knowing stuff from back in the day and today, and like it's amazing what he knows. For his age, it's unbelievable. Listen, thank you so much to everybody for being here tonight and hanging out. We had a great time. I know I did. And shout out to the Ghost from the Coast for dropping the $100. Get wet. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next time. And ladies and gentlemen, one last thing I want to say. Dr. Earl can go fuck himself.
God, feed me Omega.